previous episode, we explored Germany's unique position in international politics and its potential to become an overlooked political nuclear bomb. We examined Germany's historical political evolution, from post-World War to Reconstruction to its roles as the economic pillar of the European Union and its challenges within the wave of globalization against the backdrop of the energy crisis, immigration policies, and internal EU tensions. Germany's struggle to balance domestic stability with international responsibilities emerged as a key issue. We also focused on the German government's difficulties in addressing energy transition and economic recession, as well as how far-right forces have exploited public discontent to rise rapidly, further polarizing the nation's political spectrum. These discussions set the stage for deeper analysis. In this episode, we will delve into Germany's societal divides and voter demographics, and further analyze the rise of the far-right AfD and its profound impact on the country's political landscape. Welcome to Black Bloc Hong Kongers, your go-to channel for in-depth discussions on international politics and global crises. Stay tuned as we uncover the truths behind the headlines. Like, share, and subscribe to join our community of critical thinkers. Germany's social fractures have become increasingly evident in recent years, and they are a major source of political unrest. Since the large-scale acceptance of refugees and immigrants in 2015, Germany initially received international praise. However, over time, domestic dissatisfaction has been mounting, creating fertile ground for the rise of far-right forces. Many Germans believe that immigration policies have led to security issues and have drained social welfare resources, exacerbating cultural conflicts. Far-right parties like AfD have skillfully leveraged these sentiments, stoking fears and mistrust towards immigrants, further tearing apart the social fabric. Although the German government has promoted integration programs for immigrants, challenges in language, education, and employment remain significant, and many immigrant communities still feel discriminated against and excluded. This further hampers the process of social integration. For some Germans, policies promoting multiculturalism are seen as undermining the so-called traditional German values, intensifying societal divisions. As the economic downturn deepens, these fractures not only persist on a cultural level but also penetrate deeper into the economic structure, further eroding public trust in government policies. With the worsening economic situation, more and more voters are focusing on national interests rather than the EU or globalization agendas. This Germany first sentiment is being exploited by AfD and other right-wing forces, fueling anti-EU sentiments. This is evident not only in the strong opposition to immigration policies but also in public discontent with the competitive pressures brought about by globalization, especially in the context of the decline of the manufacturing sector. The phenomenon of companies relocating abroad has become more pronounced, and many Germans feel increasingly disadvantaged in the globalized world. This dual crisis, economic and cultural, has not only intensified regional inequalities within society, but has also exacerbated tensions between urban and rural areas. Large cities and developed regions are often the beneficiaries of globalization, while rural areas in the East and other economically struggling regions feel the brunt of the downturn. Voters from these areas, especially the middle-aged and elderly, tend to support AfD and other far-right forces, reflecting a deep-seated social divide within Germany. As the far-right forces rise, Germany's voter base is becoming increasingly polarized. Young voters and residents of large cities typically support progressive or left-wing parties, while older voters, particularly those from rural and eastern regions, are more inclined toward conservative or far-right positions. This divide is making Germany's political spectrum more fragmented, and the traditional centrist political forces are facing unprecedented challenges. With the intensification of social and political polarization, the government faces increasingly severe challenges in formulating long-term policies. This not only weakens Germany's leadership position on the international stage, but also poses a threat to its economic recovery and social stability. In such a divided society, Germany's political direction in the future is highly uncertain, and these internal fractures and divisions may become catalysts for future turmoil. Thus, Germany's social divides and changes in the voter structure not only reflect internal difficulties, but will also have a profound impact on its future political development. In today's volatile global environment, how these internal contradictions evolve will be key to the future stability and development of Germany and Europe. The rise of the far-right party AfD, Alternative for Germany, is undoubtedly a major danger signal for contemporary German politics. Capitalizing on Germany's economic struggles, AfD has successfully attracted voters who are deeply affected by the energy crisis and high inflation. They view the government's failure in economic management, especially its slow response to the energy crisis and rising prices, as the root cause of the hardship faced by the public. What is even more controversial is AfD's portrayal of Germany's large-scale immigration policy as an act of undermining Germany's cultural foundations, a stance that has resonated with many voters, particularly those concerned about the social problems and cultural conflicts caused by immigration. However, the rise of AfD is not solely based on policy disputes. They are skilled at using social media to amplify issues such as immigration-related crime and failures in energy policy, creating a sense of fear. This emotional fermentation has attracted significant support from protest-oriented voters. These voters may not fully support AfD's far-right views, but they wish to express their dissatisfaction with the status quo, especially when feeling economic pressure and social instability. Furthermore, AfD calls for sovereignty restoration, advocating for Germany to break free from EU restrictions and regain control over policymaking, have also resonated with certain voters. AfD questions the EU framework, accusing Germany of over-subsidizing southern European countries, which harms its own economy, and the voices supporting a potential exit from the Eurozone are gradually growing within the party. As AfD's support base continues to expand, Germany's party landscape is undergoing a dramatic shift. The vote share of the two major traditional parties, CDU Christian Democratic Union and SPD Social Democratic Party, is gradually shrinking, and the rise of AfD directly threatens their electoral performance, making political competition in Germany more intense and the election results more uncertain. This shift has led to a more fragmented political landscape in Germany, making it harder to form a stable coalition government. While other parties currently refuse to cooperate with AfD, if their vote share continues to rise, AfD may eventually become part of a future coalition government, which would greatly alter Germany's policy direction. AfD's hardline stance has further deepened social divisions, particularly on issues such as anti-immigration and anti-EU sentiment. These positions have exacerbated tensions between different social groups, leading to more protests and street violence, and even triggering an increase in racial hate crimes. The rise of political violence not only threatens Germany's social stability, but also raises deep concerns among the public about the future political trajectory. On economic policy, AfD advocates for protectionism, calling for restrictions on foreign investment and prioritizing support for domestic businesses. This policy could weaken Germany's international economic relationships and negatively affect its competitiveness in global markets. On energy policy, AfD opposes Germany's carbon neutrality goals, advocating for the reopening of coal and nuclear power plants. While this stance may lower energy prices in the short term, it could harm Germany's environmental reputation in the long run. Additionally, On its policy towards Russia, AfD calls for a more moderate stance, proposing to lift sanctions on Russia, which could undermine the EU's unified position on the Russia-Ukraine conflict. In such a politically divided and confrontational environment, the rise of AfD not only has a profound impact on Germany's internal political structure, but also brings new uncertainties to European and global politics. As the far-right forces grow, Germany's internal politics will face more challenges, and its international standing will become increasingly significant. Next episode preview. As Germany approaches an early election, the country's political future faces a critical crossroads. The three-party coalition government, led by Olaf Scholz, has collapsed, and the election on February 23, 2024, will mark a turning point in German politics. The rise of the far-right AfD is challenging the dominance of traditional parties like the CDU and SPD, raising global concerns about whether Germany can continue to uphold liberal, democratic values. In the next episode, we will delve into the results of the early election, their impact on Germany's governance, and the profound changes they might trigger on the global stage, from internal political fractures to the cohesion of the EU, NATO's security cooperation, international diplomacy, and economic systems. Every choice Germany makes will reshape the future of the world. Stay tuned as we uncover the deep implications of Germany's political transformation and the challenges and opportunities facing the future global order. Thank you for watching BlackBlock Hong Konger's Global Insight Network. Like, share, and subscribe for in-depth analyses on international politics and critical issues. Explore these videos next and join the conversation for a more insightful world.